What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. It is me, of course, your friendly neighborhood, the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live on a rainy, at least it is here, Monday evening. And it is good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. I hope everybody is having an absolutely spectacular evening, and that everything in your world is ordered as it should be. Welcome. And I see some folks out in the audience. Paint Minis Live. How are you, my friend? Crocodulus, good day. Let's see. Kabuki, how are you? The makeup looks lovely on you, by the way. The red stripes, very fetching. Who else we got going on out there? Praxis, hello. It's raining in Seattle too. Well, that's kind of a given, though, isn't it? Isn't it? Sort of, kind of a given. It's going to be rainy out in Seattle. I gotta adjust this monitor. I know you guys like seeing the crab and everything, but I can, I'm sitting on top of it, looking down at it, and it's losing its utility, or using its lose-tility. I don't know. When was the neon sign added? Why, that is a brand new addition to the Delver's Dungeon. I thought, hey, I'm never going to get a YouTube play button, so why not go get my own? So yes, we have a little neon live sign. It doesn't, the pink and the blue and the red kind of blur into each other just because it's a little oversaturated by the studio lights. But maybe one day, or I can share a picture of it on social media, how it actually looks. The live is in a lovely shade of pink. The play button is red, and it is surrounded, of course, by that neon blue. But anyway, High Grade, hello, good to see you. Vaughn, Gifford, greats. Any updates on her? Well, that takes us right into the discussion, doesn't it? I have not heard from Heidi anything about Ernie, and let's just take a minute, guys. Of course, tonight's live stream is brought to you by our friends at Hellebard Games. Hellebard makes the kind of adventures they'd like to play, whether it's for Castles and Crusades 5th edition or the OSR. Old School is in play at the table with Hellebard Games, and you can check them out on DriveThruRPG or on their website, hellebardgames.com. But to get to the subject matter and to just dive right in, and Vaughn, thank you for the prompt. But let me just say, I have not heard anything else from Heidi. Now, if you're new to the show, and by the way, we are at 4893, so we're like 7 subscribers away from 4,900. And thank you all for subscribing. So if you're new to the show, if you don't know who we're talking about, of course, Ernest Gary Gygax Jr., Gary's first and oldest son, has had a bad run of personal health, personal physical health. And twice in the recent past, he has had to fly emergency life flight to hospital in Madison for treatment, and he was on an uptick. They talked about treatment plans, palliative care, that sort of thing. And apparently last night he once again got into a critical physical situation, and so he has been flown back to the hospital. And the last I heard from Heidi, from Elsie, from Donna, his fiance, on social media, on Facebook, was prayers up. So, look, whether you're experiential or spiritual or whatever path you walk, please keep Ernie in your thoughts. He's a solid dude, and let's face it, he's a dude. We got to remember Don's poem, "For whom the bell tolls," and it doesn't matter who it is. The loss of anyone is the loss of the whole. and we don't want that to happen, at least not before due course. So let's all keep Ernie in our thoughts, our prayers, whether you meditate or just are hoping against the odds. But I don't have any further news, and I will let you know. I will let you guys know when I do. I'll keep you all informed. Sorry, the mic is right in my face. I'll drop this a little bit and hopefully don't unplug it in doing so. Quick, everyone, sock puppet accounts, yeah. A Dungeon Minister, I thought you were called away this evening. I thought you'd be off. I thought you'd be off on another channel that just happened to be starting right around this time. But anyway, so that's the that is the news there from Ernie, and I wish I had some better news. Now, so this week, let me just kind of bring you guys up to speed on what's going on this week. Oh, okay, there's a weirdo Western Times. I got you, Dungeon Minister. The basic Mexican. That's funny. That's funny. John Stuart Keller. But anyway, so this week is going to be a little compressed. So what we've got going on this week is Friday, I will be live streaming with Raised on D&D and Rose Estes' son and some other august folks. We will be playing, I believe it's an old school D&D. I don't know if we're playing basic or advanced, but we'll be essentially, we will be playing Mountain of Mirrors, the Choose Your Own Adventure book, on Twitch. I am a guest there. I am not the host. So we'll be over on Twitch. I will share that information with you guys on socials, so you'll be able to tune in and check that out. So I hope you'll join us over there. So that's happening Friday, and you might be wondering, hey, does that mean we're going to miss Gamma World? And not at all. I believe that everyone, wow, 30 folks. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I thought it was a typo of some kind, L. I got you now. But anyway, so I will let you guys know when I know, and you join us for that. But Wednesday night, if I can get everybody all the ducks in a row, Wednesday night we will play Gamma World First Edition. We won't miss a night of gaming. Thursday night, merch designer Tracy Lesh will be here, and I'm very excited about that. Trace will be here to talk to you, to answer your questions about Dungeons and Dragons, about art, about anything you guys want to talk about. Within reason, within the realms of good taste. Tracy will be here, and we'll be playing. Elle says, I refuse to call him the greatest edition of D&D. So oh, wow. Okay. Well, I have nothing to do with those guys, Elle. I promise. But anyway, to get back to matters at hand. So we have a jam-packed week, not a minute to breathe. Now, one thing, I meant to do this for content, so we would have stuff to do tonight, is an unboxing. But I'm probably going to do that tomorrow in the preamble. I have some cool new stuff from Jack Photon that I am just itching to share with you guys. And I meant to do it tonight. It would have been perfect for tonight. A nice little hour of unboxing I just plain forgot about it until time. I usually put up notes for myself. Jack, I apologize unreservedly. Please forgive me. But we will have we will have the unboxing of the latest from Jack Photon. Now, if you don't know who Jack Photon is, Jack is an artist who does bespoke creations, not recreations or reproductions, but bespoke creations of AD&D books, but with new content. I don't mean 5e content inside books that look like they're made for AD&D. I mean new AD&D content, concatenations of articles from The Dragon, from Dungeon Magazine, and all that sort of thing in hardback form. You guys, of course, have seen the book, The Librum of Gameful Conjurations, that we have debuted on the show. Jack, of course, did omnibus versions of the Star Trek, the role-playing game, the FOSSA Star Trek, the RPG. So we have looked at those. I've got some down here. So that's where we're at. That's what's going to be happening. I can't tease it, Vaughn. It's all the way over on the other side of the studio, my friend, and it's closed. And Jack seals his stuff up to resist NBC attacks. So, but I promise tomorrow night you guys will get to see it. You guys will get to see it. Bespoke means created on demand, created for a specific person and a specific purpose. I'm using it in a more broad sense in that, it's not factory manufactured, and he's creating a very small batch. Artisanal is another one you'll see pop up a lot. So these are bespoke, artisanal RPG game books that he puts together. So anyway, so that's what's happening, and I'm excited and I'm hyped for this week, and I hope you guys are too. I genuinely hope that you guys are ready and willing, and that you're going to that you're gonna watch with us. Now, just to let you know, sorry, I'm responding to a message there. But anyway, just to let you guys know, if you're new to the show, typically we live stream 5 nights a week. We do just kind of an open Monday. Tuesday, we play first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons on stream for you guys. Wednesday, I let Kyle drive, the Kyle driver. That's what I'm going to start calling him, the Kyle driver. Kyle is running the show on Wednesdays, and right now Kyle's going to be running a campaign of his role-playing game called Conflict, which is like, if you've ever played Traveler, classic Traveler, then you'll grok Conflict. It's definitely a cromulent game, and so we're going to be playing Conflict when Kyle returns. His kids are on school vacay right now, which I think that's next week. Thursday is generally an open night. If I don't have a guest, what I'm doing right now is either deep dives into classic RPG material, or I'm doing how-tos on Advanced Dungeons and Dragons First Edition. Right now, we're kind of doing a how to dungeon master, and we talked a lot about rules versus rulings last week, and the differences and the importance of understanding and the nuance in being a DM and balancing those two things. It's everything in balance, just as it should be, is how that goes. However, this week we have Tracy Lash on Thursday, so we will set the textbook aside for a very special guest. And then Friday nights we live stream first edition Gamma World. So that's what we do. That's how we roll. And so welcome to everyone. Now, some of you might be wondering, particularly if you're new to the channel, hey, how do I support this channel of yours? Well, I'm glad you asked. We have two primary ways of long-term support. You can support this channel through Patreon, and the information is scrolling across right down there. We have a few tiers, and we also have YouTube subscriptions. It's somewhere on either side of the screen. You can go and you can become a YouTube subscriber for as little as $1.99 a month. You can become a Patreon for as little as $1 a month. At the $10 level, however, channel backers and patrons get every month at the $10 level, you will receive a micro first edition AD&D module complete with maps. It is laid out in the old school style. I think you guys will like it. So if that's something you'd be interested in, getting one every month, an AD&D adventure every month written by myself or my co-host Kyle, then click that membership button or check us out over on Patreon. So now that that's set aside, let's just jibba jabba a little bit. Let's just talk. Michael Mertig says, last couple of days, I've found some cool videos of painted minis from D&D, Dragonlance, and Warhammer. Great deal on paint job. I am glad that you mention Paint Minis, because there's a friend of this channel, Paint Minis Live, Bowmond Kabuki. Bowmond is the term you're looking for. Bowmaned. Greetings, Deadly Dungeon Master. Hello, how are you? Remember, he's deadly. Don't eat him. But anyway, yeah, so Paint Minis Live is a great channel here on YouTube. They did a Grenadier Red Dragon, the Grenadier Red Dragon from TSR. He painted it up for me, and I'm just over the moon. I love it. I think it's simply an amazing piece that he did for me. And we had kind of a live unboxing here, and I glued the gems onto the base and the big, huge, giant diamond into its claw. It was a wonderful, wonderful piece. Oh, speaking of miniatures, of course, and again, if you're new to the show and you're not up on this, you're quite welcome. Everybody, open up another browser tab, subscribe to Paint Minis Live if you haven't already. Let's get this young man raised up, please. But anyway, we have another little thing, another little tradition we do here on the show, and it is the Dungeon Diorama. Now, some of you might see a camera on a tripod over here. You're not exactly sure what you're looking at. Well, every Monday, I like to share, and then it stays up there throughout the week. I like to share a little Dungeon Diorama, a little bit of painted miniature goodness. Sometimes they're painted by me, sometimes they're not painted by me, but I like to put them in a little scene, a little something that you guys can enjoy. So we're going to check this out. Can I put paints in the description? Sure. I'll throw a link in there. But anyway, so let's check this out and have a gander at what we've got. It's nothing too exciting. These are holistic miniatures. These are pre-painted metal minis. Now, these are unfortunately out of production. They were quite nice looking. And this is a group of elves who have arrived at a traveler's inn. And they note that there is a well sitting just outside. Thank you very much, Vaughn. Thank you very much, Vaughn. Thank you very much. But anyway, so these elves have arrived at the inn, and their leader, the female elf magic user, is pointing to the well, saying, "We should refresh ourselves there, wash up a bit before we enter into the inn." And again, these are all pre-painted metal miniatures, which is a rare commodity these days, unless it's done by order, bespoke, if you will. So it was nice to get these. This is the Bizarro room. There has dye in neon. No, it has dye and black light. All these are all of these are UV lights, and that's the sign over there says dye and black light. But anyway, so that is the Monday Dungeon Diorama, and I hope you guys enjoy seeing that. They were made by a company called Holistic. Holistic Games still exists in kind of a zombie form. They actually did some things with computer games, but I don't think they're per se active. And they certainly, unfortunately, don't have any more of those grand pre-painted minis. I don't think EM4 does either. I do believe the only pre-painted metal mini company that I can think of off of my head right now is actually, ironically, Mirliton. They have some of their minis pre-painted, Mirliton.it. And the .it is Italy. They bought a ton of Grenadier molds. So there's a great many, like if you have the Orc Slayer, except for the banner carrier, or if you have the Wizard's Room, except for the Cauldron, you can buy those. I don't know about the individual pieces, but you can buy whole sets of the classic minis from Mirliton, which is nice. I love to direct people over there, but like, female specialists, expert hirelings, thieves. You can even get the classic AD&D trolls from them, which until Otherworld released their very AD&D miniatures, that was the best looking. Like, if you wanted an AD&D troll, that was the mini you got. No, Vaughn. For a busy DM. Hey, Danny H, good to see you. For a busy DM, they're a godsend. I used to be very much like, I will only set plastic minis if I paint them. So I bought up to bulk up armies easily and cheaply. I can't believe this was ever a value option. But Games Workshop, I'd buy regiments. A regiment of orcs, a regiment of goblins, a regiment of Skaven. I had a regiment of zombies. I've still got skeletons, 2 regiments of like one is Bretonian and the other is Empire, and orcs. I've got the orcs, but then by and large, I was like, it's metal. They've got to be metal minis. And guys, I was getting snowed in even back then with mini painting. So when a friend of mine came over and gave me 3 tackle boxes full of D&D minis. The ability to grab handfuls of minis and set them out on the table, absolutely just love the utility. Reaper for a time sold pre-painted metal minis or pre-painted plastic minis called Legendary Encounters. And I have some of those. Those were wonderful. I wish they'd go back to those. But D&D minis, Pathfinder Battles minis, whatever minis that are pre-painted, WizKids pre-painted minis are a godsend. Because let me tell you something. Nobody at the table cares what Orc 33 looks like as far as this paint job. Which, on the one hand, if you absolutely positively want to paint, means you can do a slop job. Just, blah, green, blah, 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 brown, a little bit of silver, a little bit of brown, a little lighter brown over here, a little bit green highlight, done. And you paint it literally as fast as I just said. But the ability to throw all your monsters into a Ziploc bag. Character minis, absolutely. NPC minis, monster hordes, no. Unless they're big monsters like a dragon, a demon, that sort of thing I want to paint up myself. So trust me and trust the process. Absolutely, for hordes of things, pre-painted monster minis. Because it is better to lift the cloths off my Dwarven Forge and say, here is a room. There are 50 kobolds in this great chamber. And there's 50 kobolds in that chamber. Then, okay, here's a couple of metal kobolds I painted, and the rest, I'm just imagine that there's lots. That's just how I feel about it. That's just how I feel about it. Why are there 33 orcs on the table? Why wouldn't there be 33 orcs on the table? There's 33 viewers in the live stream. So that's, Hey, Vincent, good to see you. Did Vincent just mess it up? Did Vincent 34? Okay, there's 34 now. But anyway, so yeah, when it comes to characters and special things, I definitely painted minis. And I have hordes of monsters in metal that I'm going to slot paint someday. I've got 3 armatures of goblins and kobolds that they're sitting up on a wire rack over there. I made the armatures myself, and I'm gonna slot paint them one day. I'm just gonna go through and just blah 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 blah, and just knock them out. But until I do that, I've got others as well. So, but anywho, so that's what happening with that. Let's see what else is going on. We draw ever closer to a little mini vacation I'm going to be taking the weekend of the 14th of October. October is going to be fun, guys. Now, I know it's going to be fun, guys. I know I just said that we'd be playing, we would be playing Gamma World on Fridays. And by and large, that's true. In October, every Friday session, except for the week of the 14th, it will be probably a Thursday night session. We will be playing live Call of Cthulhu, 4th edition, if it matters. Call of Cthulhu is identical from 1st all the way to 6th, I think. So, but we will be live streaming Call of Cthulhu, a 4-session mini adventure. And I hope you guys will tune in because it's Halloween. Let me see. When does Halloween actually fall? What you do in the privacy of your own home is your own business, Vaughn. I'm just teasing you. So when does Halloween fall? So we're in September, February. So it falls on a Tuesday. So basically we'll be playing the 6th, the 12th, the 20th, and the 27th will be our Call of Cthulhu session. I have players already. I know a lot of people have asked me, like, "Oh, can I be in that?" If the COC crowd doesn't want to be in it, but we will be we will be seating probably 5. And Sam Hain, that's right. Okay, is it Samhain or Sam Hain? I have had people who are of the I guess Wiccan, pagan, whatever faith. Some say it's Sam Hain, others say it's Samhain, and then I have some say that it's Samhain. So I think we talked about this once on the show. I believe we did. A game that's identical across 6 editions. Who's ever heard of such a? I know, Chris, right? They didn't fire their fans over and over. What a weird ass concept. Sorry. So Squirrel Hermit says it's Sam Hain. Kabuki Kid says it's Samhain. It's pronounced All Hollow. Okay. I once wrote a story that I'm never going to publish about a fellow who gets wrapped up in that time of the year. Samhain. Okay. Magnificent Devil says Samhain. Interesting bit of trivia. You guys might not know this, but War Pigs by Black Sabbath was originally going to be called Walpurgis. And when you think about it, the pigs of war pigs, that sort of thing, it doesn't really exist in cultural lexicons until that song comes out. So they picked something and a subject matter that sounded like Walpurgis and dealt with similar dark subject themes and went with that because their A&R man said that a song called Walpurgis would probably not be saleable, that it would freak people out too much. And I'm like, Nativity in Black? The band's name is Black Sabbath. They have a song called Black Sabbath. So make of that what you will. Hey, Jeremy, thank you so much. Jeremy has a question. Why do people think elves were short? I don't know. Elves, generally speaking, if you go by Tolkien legends, they're tall. They're tall and slender. They're described as being tall and slender. I've never put a height restriction on elves, Jeremy. I've never said your elf has to be 5 feet tall. And I mean, I think it could also be because of the Fey folk fairy tended to be that they were wee folk until Dunsany. Elves were generally like classified like gremlins, hobgoblins and elves and sprites and pixies and that sort of thing. Essentially, small forest spirits and demons were very minute things, and it could come from that. I think perhaps, Jeremy, and thank you very much for the super, by the way. I appreciate it. Jeremy is a good guy, by the way, everyone. I've known Jeremy. Maybe someday we'll meet in real life, but I've known Jeremy in an online sense since I think 2003. But he's a good guy, and he's always been there with words of encouragement, and I've always appreciated it. So thank you for sticking around, Jeremy. But if you describe your elf as being tall and willowy or short and stocky, as long as you're not like trying to say, my elf is 12 feet tall, he has no problems reaching up on shelves that you might have hidden near the top of the ceiling, or conversely, my elf is 1.5 feet tall and has no problem crawling through small crevasses into areas that you DM don't want entered without the proper the proper methods. I'm completely okay with it. Well, I think, when it comes to gnomes, halflings, and dwarves, you're going to have to give ground. Like a giant dwarf is going to be like 4 feet tall. And truly, you had Merry and Pippin, who thanks to ent drafts and other magics and that sort of thing, when they came home into Hobbiton, they were like, it's like friggin' Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and I don't know, Shaquille O'Neal compared to the other halflings, right? But they were the exceptions, not the rules. So your halfling, 3.5 feet, maybe 4 on the outside. Dwarf, maybe 4.5. Gnome, 2.5 feet, and they call you Stretch. That's just how that goes. Magnificent Devil says dwarves and Elder Scrolls. I wonder if they were going to bring the dwarves back. Well, other than the one who's on Morrowind, who may be no longer alive by the time Skyrim and Elder Scrolls 6 roll along. It's only been 60 years between Morrowind and Oblivion, I think. So in all likelihood, he still is. If you know the NPC I'm talking about in Morrowind, then you know. But the dwarves were horrible people in the Elder Scrolls series. There were a race of very kind, naive elves that lived in the north of Skyrim. They were snow elves, basically. And the dwarves said, you know what, let's round all them up, blind them, and start some genetic mutations. And they did that, and that's why you have the Falmer. The awful, awful Falmer. Because they all went insane from what the dwarves did to them. And the dwarves were all but one dwarf were in magical cyberspace. And the one dwarf who you meet actually in Morrowind was screwing around with a set of magical tools called Kagranak's tools. And he accidentally did the tools. And it caused all the dwarves who were in magical cyberspace to wink out of existence. So anyway, that's yeah. They're not your mead drinking Scottish brogue axe wielding dwarves in the Elder Scrolls universe. They're 1/2 concentration BAMP doctor, 1/2 dwarf, I guess. But anyway, they were exactly magnificent. They were technomancer, mad scientists. So, like, you'll find steampunk stuff scattered all over Morrowind. If you've never played Morrowind, by the way, do go play Morrowind. And look up Morrowind mods. You're going to stack like 3,000 mods onto Morrowind. You know. But Morrowind is grand. What a grand and intoxicating innocence. Did you bring the false sunder? So naive. Shame on you. Come, Nerevar, friend or traitor, come. Anyway, sorry, I do go on. But yeah, that's kind of interesting stuff. Kind of interesting stuff. Chris say, I'm fine with most takes on demi-humans at my table, but if your dwarf starts speaking with a Scottish accent, he immediately falls into a 50-foot spike pig. Same for engineer gnomes. Not sure what the second one is. I mean, I know what a gnome is. Obviously, I know what a gnome is. But yeah, Scottish accent is not necessary. Danny H said, I used to be an adventurer. Yes, the classic. Do I prefer Morrowind to Skyrim? Every Elder Scrolls game has its joys and advantages. Morrowind has a rich, deeply woven lore. And it feels like, outside of the main quest, that doing certain things means certain choices matter. Oblivion has a much more beautiful world, and I think Shivering Isles is basically an Oblivion-sized game that they bolted onto Oblivion. It's called the Shivering Isles DLC or their Shivering Isles expansion, but it essentially doubles the size of the game. And a lot of people preferred it because it introduced the alien weirdness to of Morrowind to Oblivion. But I think like the Knights of the Nine and all that stuff, I think it is a rich, layered experience. Also, you just kind of get reduced to sitting back and watching a cutscene. So the end of Oblivion is kind of a letdown, but there's lots of fun stuff you can do. You can get a house, you can put things in there. There's lots of interesting NPCs, lots more dialogue. When you get your Strongholds DLCs, like building up your castle up in the northwest, or your undead vampiric stronghold, or just all the various DLCs, all the stuff that they added to Oblivion, make it a greatly varied experience, and I like it quite a bit. Skyrim is a visual feast. The main quest tries to put decisions and their importance into your hands. I'll leave it up to you guys individually whether or not you think they succeeded with that, but I feel like they did a pretty good job. And it is such a varied world, you know. Mountainous cities, windswept cities. You can go back to Morrowind with certain DLC. There's factions you can join. So many wonderful places and things to see and do in Skyrim. I like establishing households, having house carls, the DLC that lets you actually build your own home, things like that. it is thin on the ground for the main quest, but I think a lot of the side quests are fun. And of course, graphically, it just knocks my socks off. You know, when your first dragon fight is amazing, or fleeing from a dragon, I should say, is amazing. And then when you come out, when you and can't remember his name, the NPC who basically guides you out, when you flee with him, and then you step out into that valley and you see the waterfall and everything. It just great gaming moment. Love it. I missed this. Let me see. Apparently, I missed something. I missed a super. Oh, you want? Okay. Sorry about that. I'll put that up there for a few minutes. I can't do VR. Magnificent Devil. Your attack was too slow, Highlander. No better than that of a clumsy child. Remember, lose your head, and it's over. We will conduct our missile drills off the coast and listen to their rock and roll music. Then we will sneak away, leaving them only with the sound of our silence. How was that? They wanted Connery originally to play Gandalf, and I don't know how I would have felt about that. I think he would have brought gravitas to it. A lot of people are like, look, you know what my Sean Connery sounds like, and everybody's like, oh, you're just doing what's his name from Diablo. I'm like, fuck, what do you want? Magnificent Devil, you're absolutely right. The best part of Skyrim is you can completely ignore the main quest and still not run out of things to do. I love the fact that finally in Skyrim, they gave me the ability to wipe out the Assassin's Guild. I did the Assassin's Guild quest once in Oblivion to see what it was like. And people are like, well, why do you want to wipe out the Assassin's Guild? I play RPGs, computer or pen and paper, to experience higher aspirations. My higher aspiration is to be an absolute do-gooder. So yes, I wipe out the Assassin's Guild every time I play Skyrim. A wizard, Connery saying, all right. A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives exactly when he means to. I am the servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of honor. Your dark fire will not avail you, flame of Udun. Go back to the shadows. You cannot pass. Computer game version of Papers and Paychecks. Open Excel. Yeah, I really wished. I went back and I played Diablo on. I have a PlayStation 1, a perfectly functional, not modded, as it was bought. Didn't buy it at a yard sale. Bought it in the store new PlayStation 1. And somebody bought me Diablo as a gift because they had. And I don't know why, because I had played and beaten Diablo on the PC, and they were like, oh, here you go. And I couldn't do it, man. That joypad. Couldn't do it. Stay a while and listen. Do I build a character like D&D for Diablo? I don't remember. It has been such a long time since I've played Diablo. I think it's a point buy. And then you get points to increase things in slowly as you play. Of course, Diablo is just like a black game. Nothing good happens ever in Diablo. There is no like triumphant. The angels are horrible. The demons are horrible. Although now they're kind of playing this thing off like, you know, Lilith is basically stepping up and saying, you know, I was an angel once, and, you know, I just want people to feel good. And if the devil is dead, then I'll just become the queen of feeling goodness. And who cares that I have great ram's horns and cloven feet and a spade tail, you know? But yeah, there is no, there is no, there is no happiness there. I don't allow assassins because I don't like doing evil games in AD&D. I don't like, I don't just like throw it out. Like, you know, I'll give you a good reason why. Generally, I have somebody who wants to run a paladin. It just happens. Have I played with another character that played an evil character, and how did that go? Yes, I have, and they actually played them as more of a mafioso type character, and because they were lawful evil, and my character was chaotic good, so we were like on opposite ends of the spectrum, but we stayed out of each other's way. I had a fighter magic user, and they were running a straight fighter, and so I was a support guy, and we would throw barbs at each other over the table in the inn or when we were camping. But when the broadsword sings, we had each other's backs. Thank you, Lux. It's like I said, it's been forever. Funny thing about Diablo. If you have the right tools, you can look on the PlayStation 1 Diablo CD, and everything, sounds, graphics, scripts, everything except an executable is included on the CD. That wasn't supposed to happen. The Japanese devs just threw everything onto the CD. And this just kind of sat there unknown. And I even mentioned this before this happened. And I kind of wonder if this started getting out. Because, once I had tools to open up essentially the cabinet, the compressed files on PlayStation discs, I started going through various PlayStation discs, and I'd like ripping movies out, that sort of thing. Yeah, just fun stuff. And I was like, holy crap, all of the sounds, all of the graphics, everything is here. This is really neat. And I mentioned it on an Amiga computer forum. I was like, hey, if somebody wanted to reverse engineer an engine, everything you need is right here. And a few months later, and then I've seen around that there is a Diablo player. Basically, you need a PlayStation copy of Diablo and an open source engine, or this open source engine, and you can play Diablo on various systems that never got a port of Diablo. Oopsie. Well, clearly, Blizzard probably didn't commit that same mistake with Diablo 2 releases for other things. Of course, now, ever since Diablo 3, you got to be plugged in all the time, and you've got your BNet code, and all that garbage, because Blizzard Activision is the actual devil. They are actually Satan. So Chris, that's a good question. And this dovetails nicely into this dovetails very nicely into when I talk about rulings versus rules. So what is an adventure? If a party goes from the Keep on the Borderlands to the Caves of Chaos, stabs one kobold, falls back to the keep, is that an adventure? Or is the adventure the entire exploration of the module? I deem that an adventure is not over until a stated goal is accomplished. So you might have a druid who accompanies a party with a paladin, starting at first level through the village of Hamlet, all the way to the end of Temple of Elemental Evil. And if you're the type of DM and you're doing the grand tour of Greyhawk and you're taking them through all the modules and you're interlinking all this stuff that the drow are manipulating things, and the culmination of the module is fighting, the culmination of your great campaign takes the party. They go through T1 to 4, they go through the A series, they detour through S4 and WG4, and then back around even to White Plume Mountain, and then against the giants, and the descent into the depths, and finally Queen of the Demon Web Pits. One could argue that's an adventure. Gary didn't say a single session, a single gameplay session. He said an adventure. Because truly a druid who realized that there was a greater evil at play after Village of Hamlet, assuming the DM was going to dive in, might say, I need to stay with you. There's bad stuff afoot. And the paladin might just have to cross his arms and go, maybe pray about it. But that's my feeling on it. That is how I feel about it. And I think a neutral good thief, or a lawful neutral character, or even necessarily a chaotic neutral character, that would drive the paladin up the wall. Depending on what you, the game master, define as a single adventure, you can bend that. Because I'm not going to tell a player, yeah, exactly, collecting 1 session or 1,000 sessions. And I feel like I'm not going to tell the person who really enjoyed playing a druid character, they were really happy to get the wisdom of 12 and the charisma of 15. And the guy who plays the paladin was really happy to get all of the stuff, including a charisma of 17. Well, Bob, your paladin falls because you want to hang out with them. Or the druid, you're no longer in touch with nature because, you're following a lawful person. I'm not going to do that. Now, I am going to say this. I am going to say this. If a point comes in your campaign where you finished Temple of Elemental Evil and you all have to take a break, it's the holidays, Maybe it's the summer. Maybe it's just a week that you skip. But you, the dungeon master, deem that, okay, I'm going to say that a year has passed and we're going to start a new campaign. I think you, as a DM at that point, need to talk to the paladin player and tell them that adventure's over. Or talk to the druid player and see if they're game for rolling up another character. So I think it's up to you as the DM to make that judgment call. I wouldn't let them abuse it. Like, hey, yeah, we're just going on little random, we're going to go, we heard about some trolls. So we'll go see if we can fight some trolls. We heard about this. So we're going to see if we can do, that's separate adventures. Yeah, I don't think that's an incorrect reading, Chaos. Yeah, that's not a paladin, TXG. I'll agree with you. But anyway, that's just kind of what I hold forth on that. So so tomorrow night, we are going to be playing some Advanced Dungeons and Dragons First Edition. We'll have a little bit of mail call first, Jack. Wednesday night, if I can get the Gamma World crew lined up in a row, we are going to play some Gamma World. Thursday night, Tracy Lesh will be here. And of course, Friday night, I will be outie because I will be playing with Rose Estes' son and the folks from Raised on D&D in a stream over on Twitch, and I'll get you guys the link to that. So, nope, I don't agree with you, El. So anyway, I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful evening. I want to thank you, Vaughn, for your supers. Thank you, Jeremy, for your super. I hope I answered your questions adequately. So again, guys, if you want to support the channel, you can support us on Patreon. You can support us via YouTube memberships. The $10 levels in both gets you a mini AD&D module every month. We've got one coming up next week from Kyle Schwant. Actually, no, this week from Kyle Schwant. So that's being released, and it, $10 level, guys. You're going to get that module. So if you want to support us there, that's fine. You don't have to support us at the $10 level, though. For as little as $2 on YouTube or $1 on Patreon. But that's going to do it for me, everyone. I'm gonna slide on out of here. Where is my control? Oh, there it is. I need to get one of them things that lets me like hotkey stuff so I can change stuff around. But anyway, everyone have a fantastic evening. And as always, I will caution you on your way out to keep your eyes peeled for the owl bear. I love you all. Peace.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course. Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.